definitely hot back there, but it's chilly right now. So
Feels kind of nice.
yeah,
I feel
You ready?
if I had on long sleeves, I'd be fine. But I wear short sleeves, so.
Time is 6:41 p.m., March 12th, 2025. We'll call the March meeting for the Swatara Township Stormwater Authority to order. If you'll stand with the pledge and recite the pledge with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Secretary Savage, if you would go ahead and please call the roll.
Director Tucker.
That's next meeting.
Director Tuckey.
Here.
Director Zubek. Here. Director Connolly.
Here.
Director Ellis. Here. Chairman Steele.
Here. We do have a quorum. The Stormwater Authority did not have an executive session. Is there any visitors' requests or comments? Hearing none, seeing none, moving on. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion.
Got a motion from Director Conley. Is there a second?
Second.
I got a second from Director Ellis. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Those in favor give consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Anyone abstaining? That motion passes. Item 5 on the agenda, motion to approve items on the consent agenda. Is there a motion?
Motion.
I got a motion from Director Conley. Is there a second?
Second.
I got a second from Director Ellis. All those in favor give your consent by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Same sign. Anyone abstaining? That motion passes. Item 6 is approval to purchase 2025 International MV 607 street sweeper from Golden Equipment Incorporated. Is there a motion? I
Motion.
got a motion from Director Ellis. Is there a second?
Second.
I got a second from Director Conley. As discussion, the total price of the street sweeper is $358,058. Correct me if I'm wrong on the date of the damage. I think it was 23.
Correct.
Okay. So in 23, we did have a street sweeper that was damaged in an accident. Insurance covered the costs of $177,900, leaving a balance of this street sweeper, $180,158. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor give your consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Anyone abstaining? Motion passes. Item 7 is authorization to authorize RFP for Highland Street Drainage Project. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second? Director Ellis, I got a second from Director Conley. Way of discussion, you want to give a little bit of background on the drainage project?
Sure.
I think this has crossed multiple boards, so we're pretty much up to speed, and I think everybody's going to be actually excited that we finally got to this part where hopefully you would say, we're going to get it done this year.
Yeah, so Mr. Teague from HRG is here also if there's any technical questions. But again, as we all know, that area has been a nuisance area for many years. The water lays there right in front of the Swatara Middle School driveway. What we came up with was a way to reroute that water around the wall and get it discharged to where it needs to be at a quicker and better, fashion. So. HRG worked on the design, and we're pretty confident in the, in the design, and we're hoping that this is going to alleviate a long-standing problem. So,
Okay. Any directors have any further discussion or questions? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor give consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Anyone abstaining? Motion passes. Item 8, consideration of minutes, February 12th, 2025. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
Motion.
Motion by Director Conley. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Director Ellis. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Those in favor give your consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Anyone abstaining? Motion passes. Item 7 will be the Stormwater Monthly Report. Manager of Utilities, Kevin Traff. Welcome back, Kevin.
Should have just stayed up there.
thank you, Chairman Steele. Good evening, directors, for the second time. I'll quickly go over the February monthly report. Again, stormwater staff is looking forward to a busy 2025. We have the Highland Street Pipe Relocation Project, the Dewey Street Bank Stabilization and Widening Project, and the Donald Taylor Park Stream Restoration Project. HRG is again here for the Highland, which we've already voted on. We're good. And also we did receive the new street sweeper. It arrived on March 3rd, and my staff was trained on the new sweeper. It's the exact same model that we had before. It's not anything new, but they did do probably about a 6-hour training on the new sweeper. Upcoming activities, again, we're going to keep working on the outfall and BMP inspections. I did contact HRG. We're trying to get some software integrated into our Esri system to streamline that process. We're in the process of doing that as we speak. Staff will schedule the annual BMP inspection training with HRG. Again, that's required as part of our MS4 permit. Staff will begin televising and cleaning the stormwater system as weather permits. And tonight, I'm going to quickly touch on the Adopt a Park and Adopt a Highway program. So we talked about this last year. I know I worked with Director Ellis a few times and we discussed it. We really want to kick it off now. What we're looking to do is we're asking our residents or community groups, youth organizations, Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts, whoever, to help us, try to maintain, I don't want to say cleanliness and help with the parks and help with our roads. So if you're interested or you know anyone that would be interested, please feel free to reach out to the township. You can get a hold of me and, we'll get that ball rolling. It's kind of a tough deal because, PennDOT has an Adopt a Highway program. I don't want to overstep on their program. They've had it for many years. So as far as the state roads, we'll let the state do the Adopt a Highway that they have. But what we're looking for is help with the township roads and, of course, the township parks. And I will touch on litter a little bit further in my report. I got some exciting news today for that as well. February event, staff continues to monitor Spring Creek. Myself, Austin, Natalie, and Brittany have began holding weekly management meetings. Staff is working on review of the stormwater credits to ensure the appropriate paperwork has been received. HRG continues to do all of our land development reviews and our stormwater inspections for those developments. Stormwater staff, again, as I said, we're working with the GIS technician from HRG for our BMP inspections and our outfalls. We investigated a stormwater, I call them investigation requests. I don't call them complaints. On Capitol Drive, we are working on a resolution there. Staff performed inlet inspections and televised several pipes following the request for investigations. We attended a meeting to discuss the upcoming changes on the MS4 permit. Staff attended internal meetings on various subdivisions, and staff reviewed the draft bid documents for the Highland Street Drainage Project. Staff completed inlet inspections or inlet repairs on Cordial Lane and President's Drive, and we also completed 3 other inlet inspections as per resident requests. And I want to say the most exciting news from my report, but we're currently working with Dauphin County. I know Director Connolly had touched on this last week's meeting, and I know Director Tuckey has reached out to me. So today we had a meeting with the county, and I'm excited to say that they are going to start Monday morning at 50th and Dairy, and they're going to work their way out 2 days a week, Mondays and Wednesdays, and helping us pick the litter. First, I want to say thanks to Dauphin County Commissioner Mike Prees. Kelly McGonnell from the county reached out to me immediately after talking with Mr. Prees. I think it's a start in the right direction. We'll see where this goes, and we also Director Connolly and I sat down with Kia, with the CEO, which is the group that will actually be performing the litter pickups, for the next few weeks, really for as long as we need them to help us. So we're excited. I know it's a problem. I see it every day. It's unfortunate, but I think we're striving in the right direction to try and address this. So that's the end of my report.
Anyone have any questions or comments for Manager Rocco?
Thank you.
Yep.
Good. Director Tuckey.
When they're doing the pick, oh, you're okay. When they're doing the trash pickup, are the police going to be able to protect them from getting hit on the side of the road, or how are they going to go about that?
So we talked about all that today. Again, Mr. Calaman and they have all the things they need. They have the signage. I haven't spoke with Chief Stauffer, about that. I can, and again, I did reiterate to Miss McGonnell that, safety is our number one important, fact. So they have this, because I told them I would bring the signage, I would set it up, I would do whatever they needed me to do to keep them safe. If I feel like that's what we need to do, then I will reach out to Chief Stauffer and see what we can do as far as slowing traffic down. So.
I just want to add in a follow-up conversation with the group. This is something they already do. They have 2 teams of 8 that work throughout the county. I think we're getting a group that is split between the city and us now. And they've already come into Swatara Township. When they're picking up litter on a thoroughfare that leaves the city, in the past they've continued on into the township. So they do have the safety. They have everything they need. We offer to supply them also with bags if needed, and then so that they can continue at a faster pace. We're just asking that they put the piles on the edge of the roadway, and then our staff will go get it, and that way people will see that that there is a cleanup, and that way they're not spending half their time putting it out and then the other half removing it. So we appreciate the services, but it's very flexible, shall we say. There's lots of things that can change with it based on need. I think we're going to make a commitment through the end of the year to use their services. Right now the money's paid through a grant that they've already received. There may come a time where we're asked to contribute or sponsor them for a grant, but I think we have a pretty good relationship with both the CEO and their executive director and the county, and appreciate County Commissioner Priest for making the connection, and Kevin knowing who to call. So
and I don't want to. So we did speak about leaving the stuff there, and one of the things I didn't realize that they do, and I found out today, Austin and I did. They actually take the litter and weigh it, right? So that's important for a couple of reasons. One, for our MS4 permit, but they'll actually track how much litter they take off of the streets, and then Miss McGonnell will report those numbers to me probably weekly. So they're actually going to remove the litter. They're going to take it to, I assume, the incinerator, weigh the vehicles.
that changed since we had the conversation, but that
correct.
We're flexible. If that's
what, that was just information that she gave to me today.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. All right, that's fine. Thank you.
Director Connell?
Commissioner Tuckey Director Tuckey had another.
I just would like to have the information of how they go about to protect themselves.
Sure.
Because the last thing, of course, any of us want is someone to get hurt. And just for my own acknowledgement, I'd like to know what they do.
Sure.
That's all. Thank you.
Yep.
Anything else? Thanks, Kevin. Treasurer Yarzynski for the Treasurer's Report.
This is for the month ending February 28th, 2025.
There's, again, the operating and then the reserves account. The beginning balance of the operating account was $774,205.88. We received $464,507.71. We dispersed $9,704.16 with an ending balance in the operating fund of $1,229,009.43. The beginning balance of the reserves account is $401,385.11. We received $1,487.05 in interest, no disbursements, with an ending balance of the reserve account of $402,872.16. So the overall ending balance of stormwater funds is $1,631,881.59 at the end of February.
Any questions for the treasurer? Solicitor Cocarisi, anything?
Nothing from me.
Scott some time ago had talked about the different no, it might have been Isaac when Isaac was here. The different agreements that we can get into with the communities as far as taking over their stormwater management. Can we get a draft of that? What that would look like for the board to review, and if it's something that we want to entertain. I think it might have been 6-7 months ago when Isaac was here, and I guess the law had just changed where we could get under a management agreement with the different communities throughout Swatara Township to maintain their stormwater basins.
Sure, I can follow up on that and come back with more information.
Okay. Any visitors requesting comments? None. Any possible stormwater violations for investigation? Hearing none. Up to item 13, director's requests and comments. Director Tuckey?
I'd just like to thank you, Kevin, for following through with what you were asked to do. And I know there's going to be a lot of residents really happy to see the areas through our township get cleaned up. So thank you for that.
Director Zubak?
Yes, I'd just like to touch on a couple of things. I've been getting quite a few complaints from residents regarding various stormwater issues, mostly surrounding bills and things as such. The one that concerns me the most is I would like us to look into whether or not Portnoy has the ability to put people on a payment plan or anything of the sort. The one individual that reached out has a significant bill, which I think there's still questions as to whether or not that amount is owed. If there's anything, I know we've looked at helping people with penalties and things like that in the past, whether or not some penalties can be waived if there was an error, or I know that some of these things can add up very quickly. For example, the one individual, a lien was filed against their property, which resulted in a $250 cost for the attorney. As far as I could see, that's how much the attorney fee was from Portnoy. So when you take their bill combined with the attorney fee, combined with the fines and things, it ends up being a significant amount of money. So my question is there a mechanism for residents who can't afford to pay this exorbitant amount to get on some type of payment plan to address these concerns? I know I've worked on things in the past where we were able to work with the residents, and my concern is with a third party, are they as willing as we are to work with residents to make sure that we're not imposing a hardship on them? So these are some questions I'd like to, if someone could give me a contact, or if Mr. Chairman, you could inquire, I'd really like to know, because the way I've been feeling with some of the residents that have reached out, I understand their concerns. It would concern me too if I was in their shoes, and I would like to, if there isn't that ability, then I think we should look at it going in a different direction. with our third party. So I'm hoping that that people can be accommodated and we're not, having people, liens imposed on people's properties for a $60 stormwater fee, that ends up being $400, $500, $600. So that's all I have for this evening. I just wanted to put it on the radar of this board and thank everyone for coming out this evening.
If you could you get Treasurer Yazinski the list of names of those that reached out? I think that would be our first step to let's investigate in our system, and then also with Portnoy to see where they stand on their bills. As far as the payment plan, I think it's worth revisiting our rates, rules, and regulations, where that would spell out whether or not what type of payment plan this board would be in favor of prior to sending bills to collections. I'm absent to the fact of when we did hire Portnoy, but essentially once our cutoff time for the stormwater bill is due, you're immediately sent to Portnoy, because that's the agreement that we had. But I'm not saying that we're not in favor, but I think this board needs to have some discussion, look at our rates, rules, and regulations, look at our Portnoy contract, but an immediate to address this now. I think if you could, let's get that list to Treasurer Yazinski. Let's get that investigated, because in fact, if they don't owe and there's a lien on their property, there's something we got to look at.
Well, the one recently did go to Treasurer Yazinski, and Commissioner Ellis is aware of that one.
Okay.
But I can tell you that it's more of a concern for me. The ones I've gotten in the past were erroneously sent to Portnoy, where they actually paid their bill and it wasn't processed in time, and they ended up getting a bill in the mail saying that they didn't pay their bill from Portnoy.
Did you reach out to Treasurer Yazinski?
Well, that was last year, and I think people on this board were made aware of that. And, just a couple months ago, I got a letter, and I think that other members of this board received the same letter where someone had said they paid their bill and it was erroneously sent to them from Portnoy. So I just think we need some tightening up of, payments, the process, things like that, making sure our staff is processing things in a timely manner, not laying blame, just want to make sure that we're tightening things up. And as far as the residents are concerned, if it does get to that level, for some reason someone didn't get the bill, or they've got notices, it didn't go to them properly, what mechanism is there in place for a person that has a hardship or can't pay a bulk, $400 or $500 bill? What mechanism is in place for that person? Is Portnoy willing to come up with some type of payment agreement for them?
Yeah, if I may, they do have it. I don't know if the word is generous or lenient. They do have both a hardship program and a payment plan option. All you have to do is get into contact with them, and then the fees stop getting assessed. They said it's if the people do not pick up the phone and do not respond to the letters is when they get the additional fees. But even when the additional fees are assessed, they have both a hardship application and a payment plan that they can offer.
Okay, and then the other thing I wanted to ask, just one more thing, Mr. Chairman. If someone could please provide me the name of someone at Portnoy that can act as a liaison with the residents, because I've had complaints from individuals that said they reached out to Portnoy and were unable to get a hold of anyone. So I'd just like to make sure that I can send them to an individual, to the right person.
Can we give their number? And
Yep,
then I think they have an email address too, right?
I will publicly read their number right now. It's
Well, if you could just send it to us.
okay.
Thank you.
All right, and I could send it out and put it
Put it on
the list.
Facebook,
Yep.
and put it on the website.
Yep.
Mhm.
Great,
And
thank
an
you.
email address. Thank you, good comments.
Thank you.
Solicitor had a quick comment, real quick.
Yeah, just briefly in response to, what do you call yourselves here? Director Zubek's comment. I can't speak to Portnoy's process. They're a different law firm than I am, but it is largely up to the authority board to decide what your threshold to send someone to collections is and payment plan options that you would like to offer. Portnoy administers all of that on behalf of the authority board. So if you all want to be more or less flexible and forgiving, that's an internal board decision.
Well, if you could provide, just for our edification, to refresh our memories, if we could get a summary of what those current thresholds are, That way we can decide whether or not it's necessary to move forward with changes.
Yeah, ours has always been, if you're not paid by the due date, the late penalties are assessed, and how many days after that? They go to
After
court
the
off?
bills go out, they have 60 days.
60 days.
Then the penalty goes out and they have 30 days. Then it usually takes about an additional 30 days and then they go to port and off. But in the past, it had been more time in between. But they have at least, the first 60 days, 30, and then another 30.
And I think we need to address, that would have to be addressed in the rates, rules, and regulations, that threshold. So I think everybody did get a copy at the beginning of the year, but we'll send out a fresh copy and revisit it and see what the board wants to do and bring it up for discussion. Great
Well,
points.
I definitely welcome the opportunity to look at the payment options for people. Thank you.
Great points.
Just
Director
one
Conlon?
more note, if I
Okay.
may. It might make sense to make sure that both authority processes or thresholds are the same. Because I know on the sewer side, we just established, what was it, $1,000?
and then you went after it.
So it would just make sense for the threshold to be the same, so there's not two different triggers, whether it's a stormwater fee or a sewer fee or what have you.
Right. Director Conlon? Did you have something? Director
Yeah, the
Ellis,
only
go ahead.
thing I'll say to that is there's a difference in the price.
I was just
So you
Sure.
get to $1,000 a lot quicker. That's a lot of years for
$1,000 was just the number that
Okay.
we used, but it was
so
actually
many
based on,
payments.
yes,
That makes sense.
right.
Well, I mean, just to point out though, Director Ellis, the one individual, it looks to me like it might be like a year,
Yeah.
and they've already assessed a nearly $500 fee. So, yeah, it's definitely something that can add up very quickly. And I hate to have our residents burdened with something like that when the fee is $60.
Right. Well, that's not exactly what I meant with the, like you're saying that add 1,000, like once the individual gets to $1,000 that they owe to the township, that's
Oh,
when they
yeah.
would be sent to collections. So
Yeah,
for the
definitely.
stormwater fee of $60, like that's a lot of years.
Correct.
And that would make a hardship if
Yeah.
that's the time that someone is finally made aware that, hey, you didn't pay this for
10 years.
yeah, more, yeah. So that's what I was talking about. Potentially so many years, and then potentially sent over. So that's what I meant, not necessarily the fees that Portnoy charges, because
Understood. Yep.
And if I might make one more comment, Portnoy does send 3 certified letters before they start charging an additional fee.
Director Conlon?
I agree with a lot of this discussion. I don't know what the terms are with Portnoy, but I think this is almost like a roller coaster ride. The reason Portnoy was engaged, I'm sure, was because people weren't paying the bill. It's a $60 bill. It's due once a year. It's very low. It's probably the lowest of any municipality that has this. So people were ignoring it, and then it had a 10% penalty, so it was $66. And then they were ignoring that. So for the first couple years of stormwater, the amount, if we were billing 1.7 or 1.8 million, 400,000 less than that was coming in, and we were trying to do projects. So it got to the point where something needed to be done to collect it. Now I think the money's coming in. People know a little bit more about it. We're in the 7th or 8th year of this. And it's unfortunate because a lot of the people that are not paying this bill are the same people that are behind on other bills. So, if it's a lifestyle issue or the level of their income, we don't know. But we also see that with our trash services. There's 31 municipal entities that use Penn Waste. And we consistently come in about 29th or 30th in the level of paying Penn Waste. So then Penn Waste has the same situation where, if it was $250, $300, $400 a year, and then they have to do the legal costs. A lot of times we think it's outrageous, but they're adding the cost of court filings and an attorney to send a letter. So it just keeps snowballing. So then we have, people that were behind on a $60 bill and they're behind $500. So I'm certainly open to either changing some of the rules and levels with Portnoy, or if we're at the point where we think our citizens have improved on this $60 bill, we can look at the statistics, maybe discontinuing the service and then looking at, if it has to come back in years from now. But these were all discussions and concerns I think that all the people on the board had before Portnoy was engaged. And I don't want to go much longer on with that. I want to say thanks to Austin and Kevin for, working with the CEO group. And that's just, for the residents, that's just one part of litter cleanup. We're still going to be looking at dumpsters, overflowing cans, finding out where the trash is coming from. They're not going to be able to fix the problem, but they're going to be able to help. They'll pick main streets. People that travel those streets will feel good, and then we'll dig into some of the other stuff ourselves. So thank you.
Director Ellis?
I'll be quick. Just want to thank the Stormwater team for all of their work. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Okay, motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Director Ellis on the motion, second Director Conley. All those in favor give your consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned, 7:11 p.m.